piece of equipment, probably.
Well, unless we just put our own wireless router somewhere.
Might be able to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be able.
I would think so too. All right, we'll talk to them about that. Yeah, we can buy the equipment. We have to approve it next month.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion and a second on this, or not?
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion from Sam. Is there a second to proceed with this proposal with Twin State?
Second.
Motion and a second. We've got a lot of discussion. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next up, resolution, the Time Warner franchise. We have been going around and around about with this for a while. We hired a law firm, as you remember, to represent us. They are still in the middle of an audit to make sure that we were properly compensated in the past however many years. They're looking back for our franchise fees to make sure we got everything that we were due. You've seen the new franchise agreement. It's not much different than the old ones, quite honestly. The numbers we saw that was sent us was 10 years. I'm recommending we do a 5-year. It's not exclusive. We can still give it to someone else. Somebody else can also get a franchise if there's another opportunity. I don't know of anybody else providing cable services right now, but it also does include, I didn't bring that with me. Is it in here? No, did you print that by any chance?
I didn't get it.
There will be free cable
Oh,
at,
For all councilmen.
no, it doesn't include it. For the town hall, the library, the museum, the schools, I think there were 5. That maybe the highway department, yeah, and the airport. Yeah, so there's gonna be free cable provided to those, and Bob, I can give you a specific list that's downstairs in the franchise agreement, or anybody else for that matter. So that was new, and I don't like giving them a franchise agreement, quite honestly, but we have very little power in this situation anyway. So, if we can do the franchise agreement and put it in place, and then hopefully, we spent, I think, around $13,000 on this attorney. Their estimate was that whatever after the audit is completed, will be, Time Warner will owe us money. And they believe, their estimation was that whatever we recovered in overdue franchise fees would more than cover the cost of the attorney. So when the audit is done, and they told us, 2 weeks ago, that we're close to being finished, hopefully we'll have covered the cost of the attorney and get a little more revenue for the town out of this process.
Let me ask this question, 2 questions. How flexible, if at all, is a 5-year franchise agreement? Are we?
Flexible,
we're not locked
how's
into-
that?
We're not locked into 5 years, are we?
They will have the franchise for 5 years. Doesn't mean they're the only ones that have a franchise.
I know it's non-exclusive.
Right, but they will have a 5-year franchise.
I'd be more comfortable with 2.
They wanted 10, right?
Yeah, they want
1 and 10.
Yeah.
And
I
what
don't know
happens
what-
with the franchise fee?
It comes to the town. We get a payment quarterly, Nancy, of about $10,000 every quarter. So about $40,000 a year we get. The town receives revenue that's put in the general fund to cover some expenses.
Can you go less than 5?
Well, I think we could probably go any amount. The question is, what's the benefit of changing any number? Whether it's 5, 7, or 2. Nothing really changes in the whole mixture, right?
You're saying it's just our contract with them. Anybody else, if there's another company that comes
Right.
along, we can still have an agreement with them.
It's non-exclusive.
Right, right, so there's if there's competition that's now available in cable, we can give a franchise to them too. And then people will be able to pick and choose who they want. Right now, there is no alternative, and I don't know, there won't be any time in my lifetime, but
Do
I
the,
hope the hell there is.
just, I don't mean to go off subject here too much,
That's right.
but with the Dish networks, or DirecTV and Dish, do they ever have to have a franchise agreement, or they just move in and do whatever, right?
Yeah, I think part of the franchise agreement, it guarantees them the right to the access to the poles and to put their equipment in our community. That comes with the franchise agreement. So, can we make a case that Dish is putting in their equipment in our community? Maybe we could. I don't know if anybody's pursued franchise agreements with satellite companies or not, but.
The reason I asked that question is, I think, you know, at one time, it's been a while. If the municipality took the franchise fee, they would raise their prices to the customers.
No, if we ask for an increase, if we said we want $100,000 a year in franchise fee, the customers will pay for that. That gets passed on to the customer. And the customers are paying this franchise fee, quite honestly.
Right.
So if there is no franchise fee, then there wouldn't be money generated, and there wouldn't be any benefit to the town that we hope is returned as a benefit to the taxpayers. So it's, call it a franchise fee, call it a cable tax, but it's a fee that everybody pays, that uses that, it's not a tax because not everybody uses it. If you don't use cable, you don't pay it, right? So it's a user fee. So, what's your pleasure? 5 years, more or less?
I'm good with 5.
Okay, is that a motion?
We've had this for how long, 2 years?
Yeah.
We've had it for a couple of years, yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
So is that going, is it gonna be 3 years from now, or is it gonna?
It'll be 5 years forward, because we
Okay.
haven't had we haven't been under a franchise for the past couple of years.
We're doing day to day.
Right, that's what we've been doing. Yep.
So, who made the motion?
So is that a motion, Tom?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good with 5.
And a second?
Second.
Second from Steve or Sam, like Sam said too, so. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
What is that under that chair?
Ooh.
That's a task cam.
Oh, it's yours? Okay,
Yes.
well, as long as you know who it belongs to, so.
Yeah.
I was gonna send Tom over to see
Yeah.
what it was.
Step it up, Tom.
Tom, you're the bomb squad. You know, Any suspicious
I
packages?
can't leave my chair. I gotta move
Oh,
on.
okay. All right, next up, Mr. Hogwire.
Yes. Well, Supervisor Gray, as we know, a few people are missing that you said your emails.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like you to tell the councilman what you and I are going through first, and I'll talk about it.
Yeah, they're aware,
Well,
but
not-
okay, you want to
Well,
tell,
it's your-
I have no problem with that.
Yep.
Mr. Hogwire came to see me a couple months ago now and asked for a meeting with the chairman of the planning board and the zoning board of appeals, and code enforcement to discuss some concerns he has about code enforcement and also decisions made by the planning or not made by the planning and
Yes.
zoning board of appeals, correct?
Who's are favoring and who's not.
I'm not gonna, that's your opinion, I'm not gonna editorialize beyond that. So I asked for a private meeting or a meeting with Mr. Hogwire and myself and the chairs of those two boards in code enforcement. We were unable to arrange that meeting, so I suggested Mr. Hogwire come and talk to the entire board about his concerns. And that's why we're here.
Because they said they didn't wanna talk about it anymore. And I feel if they're in a position, they're the chairman of the boards, they should be able to sit down and talk about what the problems are and stuff. If they're not, if they don't wanna do it, you know, I see a lot of decisions in the past is made at Coach's Corner. Okay, but Harry Cullen, for one thing, I had some question about some zoning. Avis sends me, the wrong way. Well, if you argue with Avis, you don't do that to her, because she's right. She sent me the wrong way on zoning, said she was right, and I thought she was wrong on what she had did, so I wanted to question Harry Cullen on it, of what my steps was. So I had to pay my fee, go in front of the board and stuff like that. Paid my fee, sent me in front of, Vance Fleury's board. Vance Fleury says, after all this time that I was there, and the time passed, we got on for the meeting. He says, I'm sorry to let you know, Avis made a mistake and we can't discuss this at this meeting, you have to go to a zoning board. Why couldn't they call me way before that? Why didn't they refund my money back? So they send me to, Harry Cullen's board, the one I wanted to talk to in the first place.
The zoning board of appeals, that is.
Yes, that's the one I wanted to talk to in the first place. I tried to get hold of him numerous times. In my wallet, I have a little card that Avis gave me with Harry's number on it, his address on it, and here's where you get a hold of. She said that's public knowledge because of the position he's in. He would never answer my phone calls. Finally, he answered my phone call the day of going in front of the zoning board. And I said, look, I've been trying to get hold of you. He said, well, we'll discuss this at the meeting. So apparently he had his mind all made up what this here was, what was going on. And, I've never seen on different boards in this town I've watched, for zoning, for bringing new businesses in or anything like that there, I've seen other small towns have a discussion and people, not everybody agrees. Some yes, some no. Most of your boards in this town, I've seen, everybody's head bobs. They all agree with whoever's in the middle, whoever's ahead of the chair. I think it's time that you people do a change in this town. If this man is too busy, Harry Collin, cannot come to this board meeting right here, he's been doing it for too long, and can't face up to get questions or answers or anything to do with it, he should be removed. And put somebody new in. When you people, you're the only ones that can really talk to, because you're Messina, you're holding Messina. Alcoa's not gonna be here forever. You've got your small businesses. Are these people holding, their hands are out there saying who can do this and who can do that and who can favor this and that? Is that them, and they can't even show up to even have a talk to you? You people are the ones that put them on the boards, or elect them. When Supervisor Gray come on, these people was already in office, okay? So they're appointed after every so many years, so everybody agrees, okay? A lot of people in this town do a lot of bitching, and I hear them, but they don't come up here and say anything, you people hardly. They talk behind everybody's back. Oh, we got this here. Well, if you got something to say, I think it's time somebody starts talking about it. And there should be some changes in this town. Part that I'm getting at, there's one piece of property that I'm getting at where all this stems to. It's a principle of it. A long time ago, I bought a piece of property on 420. It used to be Kimball's property. My land connects right to the industrial park, right up through, okay? If you remember, there's a big green building, a new one that Kimball put in. There's a vacant lot and there's a double duplex. I bought all three of those properties went across there. This here's where it all stemmed from. I had different people want to rent the garage from me. I knew that Kimball had a problem on ever putting a garage in there. So I wasn't going to be, I'm going to buy this here and I'm going to change it because I'm going to have a garage there.
Let me interrupt you and explain. There's what looks from the street to be a vacant lot on 420 with a garage in the back of that lot, right? There's no house, maybe there was a house at one point.
So the green garage right inside says
It's
garage
on the
for
road.
rent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm right there.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what
Yes.
you're talking about.
Right there.
So your intent was to lease that or rent that out for a garage?
No. That green garage, which Kimball tried to run as a garage, but he got in a match with a neighbor and they wouldn't let him do it, okay? So as the years went by, I did not buy this place knowing that I could go put a garage there. I knew Kimball had a problem on putting a garage there. But as the years went by, I had bought all the properties across here, 3 of them. Okay, a vacant lot, a double duplex. So they're all mine, there's no neighbors, only one neighbor on one side, which has no problem, apparently, with me having a garage there or a motor vehicle repair shop for somebody working in there. Because they mow our lawn for us. You know, nice people. We let them use the driveways and stuff. So there's no problems there. This here's the one where Avis, when I went to see Avis one day, she says, oh no, that's commercial, residential area. You can do that. Fine. Okay, I said, Avis, I think you might be a little bit wrong. Huh? No, you're right. Okay, she takes my money and sends me in front of Vance Fleury's board. That's where we all went around the circle.
That's the planning board for Bob. and
What number is that? Is that 2281 or 2283?
The garage is 2279.
Yeah. But there is car dealerships down through there, there's body shops down through there, there's different stuff, all the way down through there. Okay, so I try to get this here through, no, so I just kind of pass off a little bit. Tell me,
Let me interrupt you again. The planning board said it wasn't their purview because the lot is undersized for a business.
undersized for a
Correct?
business.
And that's why it was rejected before, and that was why the zoning board of appeals ruled that way again recently?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make sure they understand that.
Which I told him, I said, I can add them all together, and then we'll have, except for 36 foot, the 200-foot frontage, wherever they come up with. Add them all together, because they're all mine anyways. Harry won't listen to me, won't nothing. And he put other businesses in down on 420 since Kimball had this problem, okay, that they gave him, 200-foot road frontage, okay? They're not 200 foot. There's different ones down through there. I'm not gonna name them off. but we could sit down and write it up. They let those go through. There's other places that the town zoning board lets them do spot, dropping in a used car lot for this one, another shop for this one here. I'll go on for a couple of them, okay? You got, Todd Brown. Like Todd, he cleans cars. He put a business in, Special Touch by the airport, on the airport, okay? I told Todd, I says, Todd, because he does cars for me, I said, Todd, you're gonna have a problem because the board will jerk you around and probably give you a hard time with putting business in. Because you gotta deal with these other certain people. I lent him the money for his down payment so he could get his house, to put his house in, to buy his house and run his business. He got through, okay?
So the planning board approved his.
They approved him.
Yeah.
All right? Paul Morrow gets in an argument with Fred Doopy. They're in a business down there in the corner of South Main Street. They let Fred Doopy, probably one of the nicest houses on that road, on the airport road that Harry Collins lives on, okay? Let him run a used car business down there where he can move out of Messina. That's not even a hard time. It's just because he didn't want to pay the rent because they got too much of an argument. They spot zone him to run a used car business down there. Another place, they've got dance studio, great big huge signs and stuff. I think it's great all these people can have these businesses because Alcoa is not going to be here. I'm not against the business. I think it's great. Amvets Road, Frigo Road. They gave a long time ago permission for a used car dealership down there on that road. 420 on the one where Kimball's property is. That used to be a pretty dumpy section all the way down through there, right to the dump. And they've got landlords down through there, it's really fixed up pretty nice now. You've got a few places down through there that's rough. I do not see any problem whatsoever why this garage here can't be rented out as doing motor vehicle repairs. Because you're picking and choosing. But this here's got to do with not you guys, because you didn't know what was going on. I would think, as Mr. Gray being the town supervisor, he's kind of like the head man, and when somebody sends you an email, and he does have the emails, which I saw them, where you request to see these people and talk to them, they could totally blow him off like he's nobody. What is his position of being a town supervisor if you can't control your people on your boards? If he sent any one of you an email and he'd like to talk to you or want you at a meeting, I suppose you'd probably be there unless it's the death of the family or your vacation in Florida or someplace. Where is Harry Collin and Vince Fleury? So busy. Oh, are they at one of the restaurants, maybe? They're supposed to be here tonight. Now this sounds to me like a clique, where they're not being fair, and I think that people should be removed from their positions. I like them personally, but being at the position to hold people's hand and say, you can't do this and you can't do that, but I'll let you do this, and I'll let you do that because you're my friend, but I don't know if I like you. All I want is a reason. Sit down at the table, tell me your reason why you let this one, why you won't let this one, and why that one. And if I go to sell my properties, I got the industrial park exactly right in my backyard, which I bought the property knowing the industrial park was there, which I don't care. Well, why can't I have a darn little stupid garage there? And they're all around me down at that area. If I own a lot of property in Messina and in the town, if I go to sell some of these properties off sometimes, when you got a sign out there that says commercial, okay? Like I told a lot of people, you better be damn careful, because commercial could be, you have a dog dressing place, or a hairdressing place, but you can't run this there, you can't run that there, because they pick and choose who they want, where they want. Unless you know the person, and you're gonna get it through the board. I've got a piece of property on Tripoli Road. It used to be Slavin's. It used to be Burnham's Trailer Park. Okay, you all know where that is? Okay, have you been down through there in the past year or so?
It's green. Looks like green.
Blue?
The blue?
Yeah, it's a double duplex. I cleaned the whole place all up, tore the whole place down, redid the whole place all over brand new, okay? I had a contractor in this town ask me about buying it. He said, I'd like to buy it, but he said, I'm afraid I'm gonna have a problem. They probably won't let me have what I want there. and the contractor is Levac. Okay, Levac lives over on Frico Road. Which he's got a beautiful house over there, but whatever he's running, he has a problem over there, what he has. So he thought he'd move over on my road. And I said, I don't know what would happen. And I really don't know right to this day what would happen. Because around me, on that road, I own another place right in front of the Border Patrol, one of those nice houses up in the middle up there, okay? And I used to own the property down where Rennie O'Brien is, the big corner, okay? I got Paris running trucking business out of there, which is no problem. I'm not doing eviction, okay? I'm just doing an example. Then you go around to the side road, and you got the other kid down there that's running the bulldozers, and but he's on the planning, planning board, I think. Sean Burke, running a beautiful place down there, running his business down there, okay? So I say to Levac, I suppose if they run it, I don't see any reason, you're in the middle, why can't you? He says, probably because they don't like me, so they pick and choose. My question is, if I sell him this place or do any dealings with him, are they gonna let him go in there? I'm not asking you people, because you can't answer me that. These other people are the ones. Because I'll bet you that screw with him and won't let him do it. Because he's not on that side of the town.
No, I mean, just to comment on that one situation, a home business is for somebody to run a business out of their home with their primary family, not to have other people come to work for them,
Mhm.
okay? The issue there was screening topsoil, creating dust, vibration, noise, and disrupting the other neighbors. That was a problem there, so.
That's a trucking business over there.
It's not supposed to be a trucking business. It's not supposed to have topsoil
What is
around.
Burke's?
No,
So, it doesn't have topsoil over there.
Okay. What is
Not that I
Paris?
know of.
What is Paris's? I had the property right beside it, I had the trucks going in and out, all over, but you know what, they can have it, I don't care. I don't property on the road, I don't care. What are they gonna do to this guy, or do to me selling my property, are they gonna jerk him around, or is everybody created equal?
Well, there's two things that haven't talked to you about this before that I think about in this situation. You're talking about consistency, are we applying the same standard to everybody?
They're not.
Which is a legitimate question.
Mhm.
But the other thing, if somebody wanted to potentially buy your property and have a business there, say whoever wants to, Levac wants to move there,
Mhm.
I would think the best order would be for him to talk to you saying, you know what, I would like to lease your property or buy your property contingent upon approval from the planning board.
Sure.
Then he goes to the planning board and see if he gets approved. He
Mhm.
doesn't get approved, he doesn't buy your property. He gets
Sure.
approved, then he buys your property.
Mhm.
So that might be the best way to do it if you're seriously considering that option.
Yes. What about if they turn me down?
Then you're not gonna sell the property, it doesn't seem like.
Then what am I gonna do? Am I gonna
That's up to
say,
you.
how come they can have this one, how come they can have that one, and I'm sitting in the middle?
You've already
No.
done that, I think.
Yes. All right, let's be fair, that's
Okay.
all. This town is not fair. You've got a great board here, but I think you better change some of your people that's on these other boards. Everybody says you need younger people on, you need younger people, okay? I have sat back and watched, they bring a younger person on the board, okay? You got the older chairman that's on the board, and he's set in one way. Younger guy is being trained off him, because a little while later, they talk to their friends, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a difference. A little while later, they're the same as the person that was on the boards. The same way, they agree by the same way. My mother used to have this little glass and had a little puppet, went down and tipped down. If the chairman of the board agrees, oh, I don't think we should have that, everybody else agrees. Everybody's always, yes, yes. Nobody ever argues about with each other. I've been to Fraser, Norfolk, all over, and I see the guys getting arguments, and sometimes it's 2 to 3, or whatever. Your boards in Messina, everybody agrees upon the same thing, because the decision is made before they even came to the meeting on who it is and what's going on. Now, if this guy here, Harry Collins, cannot come to this here, and he's been asked different times by the town supervisor, I consider, like the mayor, the president, whatever, he should not be here. He should not be on these boards anymore, he's too old for it. Put younger people in, don't take somebody off that board, put a newer person in. Do you guys understand what I'm
Oh, I
saying?
certainly do, and I don't wanna get in the way of, creating business, I mean, we need
Right.
business here.
You're not gonna have any businesses in this town. You got all these little small businesses, the mom and pop businesses, and somebody that's trying to, maybe they got laid off from the plant, that was a mechanic that worked at Frenchie's. Now he wants to open up his garage because he laid off from the plant. And pretty soon, 3 or 4 years, there ain't gonna be no plant. That plant's gonna bail out. Messina better start looking at, what are they gonna do? And don't look at all these small, don't look at all these big places, let's get this in, let's get that in. Nobody's gonna come to Messina, there's nothing to offer around here. Used to be many years ago, I thought this year was the greatest town. I grew up here, graduated here, I bought a lot of property here, I thought it was great. Now I probably couldn't give the property away, I'm lucky if I can pay the taxes. But I do pay the taxes, but I can't sell the properties, I'm sure. There's nothing downtown here.
They're working on that.
Well, all right, you're saying they're working on it. I'm gonna give you another example. I own 2 businesses downtown here, bars, we'll say, Friar Tuck's and Augie's Sports Bar. Fixed them up, put a lot of money in, did them up real, real nice. I got a spot across the road that was all burnt. And all I hear is they're gonna clean that all up, you know, they got a little fence up there, and they're gonna put buildings up and all this other stuff. Nobody's gonna do that. Messina School of Business, come up for taxes this year, okay? A long time ago, when Messina School of Business sold that, wanted to sell it, Harry Klopman and I was pretty good friends, I learned a lot from Harry. We go to the auction, Harry sat beside me. We're bidding up to a certain price, because we wasn't gonna pay him too much for it. And I was bidding on it, because I was gonna get it for myself. Thank God, I did not get it, okay? Another guy stepped in and bought it from Malone, okay? He did absolutely nothing with that place. You walk by and the place stinks, the bricks are falling off of the whole thing, okay? So I get an idea. I'm gonna go to the tax auction. My wife says to me, she says, if you buy that, I'm gonna kill you. Because you're not gonna have it. I said, no, I got an idea before I went. It was 3 weeks before I went to tax auction. I went down to see the mayor. I asked the mayor, I said, if I buy Messina School of Business, will you accept that as a gift from me to you? And you guys tear it down or do something with it. He said, I don't know. He said, sounds pretty good. He said, I'll have to talk to my other people that I'm with, because it's gonna be an expense, tear it down, okay?
A lot of expense.
I figured I'd buy it for about $10,000 to go be my maximum bid. Somebody bought it at the tax auction for $5,000. I let it go, I couldn't bid on it. I'm getting jabbed from her. And this guy buys it for like $5,000, the mayor never gets back to me because they apparently did not want to accept it. The town won't even take it free of charge. They won't clean up Messina. You guys gotta do something with this town.
But it
You
wouldn't
got the
have been-
town
it
of Messina
wouldn't-
and the village, okay?
Yeah.
I consider they're one place.
I'm not gonna defend the village, but I'm gonna tell you, if you came to me with that offer as the town supervisor, say, no way in hell am I gonna take a building, it's gonna cost me $100,000 to tear down,
Yep.
remediate, to have a vacant lot.
And I don't-
It now is now off the tax roll.
I know it, and I don't blame you.
So, right,
But
so.
nobody's gonna pay the taxes on anyways, what are you gonna do with it now? The code enforcement tells me, I'm just waiting to see who gets it, so I can start sending them letters. Who's gonna fix it up? You got,
I haven't talked to the guy about it, but I think he will.
it's gonna put an awful lot of money in it.
Well, he's gonna go better.
I mean, he's gonna put more money in, it's not gonna be worth anything. The same way as your Sunrise Mall down here, that's all really.
Remind me not to put you on the recruitment committee for getting new people into town.
That's
Yeah,
pretty solid.
I'll put you in a
People,
public
there's a lot of
relations.
The
issues.
bricks are falling out and stuff, you know.
Lot of pigeons to clean up.
When I was gonna buy it, I wanted to put apartments upstairs on the first few floors. So they told me that the hallway is not wide enough for Globe. So that was kind of a done deal
There's a lot of
there.
pigeons. Close your ears, Bob, there's a dead cat in there too.
Yeah.
Sort of close.
I agree with that.
But there's a lot they can do with this town, they gotta work together.
Yep.
And if you got these,
Well-
you guys got a younger board here, pretty much, except for.
Never mind.
Okay, but you've always been
Except for
open-minded.
Grandpa.
I always liked you.
You've always been open-minded, all right? But I gotta say, you got people here that really knows what's going on, and you got the younger generation, which you're not training them to be like on some of the other boards, okay? You're doing a good job, that's why
I
you're
don't
getting.
think anybody's ever called me the younger generation.
You're much older than I am, I'm not gonna call you
I
that.
go back to the, I don't wanna see us stand in the way of progress, but there's codes out there to protect values of property too.
Mhm,
You know,
yes.
So we have to follow that too. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not disagreeing with you having a garage on South, the garage is already there.
Mhm.
And,
Well, if you.
there are
if you-
codes to protect, the area neighbors, make sure their value of their property is up. So if they say the guy rents that place from you and he's got junk cars all around,
He
that,
can't.
I know.
He can't.
But if he does, then what? Then we have to fight that guy, have to take him to
No,
court,
you don't. You have
have him clean it
to
up.
fight the guy that owns the property.
Well, if
Then
you're
the
gonna,
guy-
if you're gonna sell it, then it's the other guy's
Then
property.
the guy that owns the property is the one that's gotta kick him out. But it's the same thing, if you got Fred Doopy down here, beautiful place, got a car sale, nice car sales, he